Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Good evening to everyone. Welcome to our Sunday feast. Thanks for those of you sitting close enough that you can see the TV. Can you see the TV from there, that angle? Okay. So I made this presentation. The last time I made this presentation was, I have the date, it was March 8th of 2020. And I remember, I haven't had a cough in a long time, and I have a cough right now. So, it's a Sunday feast, I had a cough, and then the pandemic hit. So, let's hope nothing like that happens in 10 days from now. And the topic was based on broken trust, because I was serving at Kishore Kishori Temple for the most part during that time. And Kishore Kishori Temple was the main Chicago temple. They were doing an entire month on this topic of trust. And it was right around Gaur Purnima time. So much of the stories are around Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. Lord Chaitanya, for those who may not know, is Krishna, who descended 500 years ago in the land of Bengal, in Mayapur. And came to teach the ways of Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness. So it's Krishna himself. Very beautiful pastime. So we're going to try to see this topic of trust from the lens of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Alright? So I'll start with a question. Consider this question. What's the similarity between a phone, a cell phone with no service, and a low trust relationship? A relationship where there's not much trust with two individuals, between two individuals. What's the similarity with a cell phone with no service and a relationship between two individuals where there's not much trust? The external is there, but the essence is missing. Nice. Yeah. No communication. Okay. Yeah. Someone, Nityapriya, were you raising your hand or just scratching your head? Okay. So, the similarity, said another way, is you can only play games. With a cell phone without service, you play game, that's all you can do. And in a low trust relationship, you just play games, right? Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, he taught his disciples that the movement, the Hare Krishna movement, is built on two levels of principles. The foundation is love and trust, and then on top of that is give and take. So the relationships between all of us is intended to be foundationally love and trust, and then give and take. I was just reading this morning, really nice. Prabhupada was explaining, so how do you build a relationship with Krishna? Especially when you come, there's a deity form. This is in the section of the Bhagavatam that speaks about deity worship. So we every time we come to the temple, Prabhupada was recommending that you bring something for Krishna. And he said something even simple, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, which is leaf, water, flower, fruit, something simple. Or something wonderful too. You can bring something awesome, grandiose, very nice for Krishna. So that's what you give to Krishna. And you know what Prabhupada said you take from Krishna when you come to the temple? He said you take his instructions. So that's a gift between Krishna and us. When we come to the temple, we give him something and you receive his instructions. And then he said, by this process, very soon you'll become a lover of Krishna. And that's our goal. Now of the two, love and trust, trust is more deep. Because I can love people without trusting them. I might love a child, one of my children, or even one of your children, I might even love. But I may not be able to trust them. So I ask, think about it, bring to your mind a trusting relationship, high trust relationship you have, and bring to your mind a low trust relationship you have. By the way, our technical crew just brought up the other two TVs, so that's wonderful. That's okay, focused here. Bring to mind a high trust relationship and a low trust relationship. And think about what's the difference in those relationships. I'll give you about 30 seconds to do that. Do we have a microphone? A second microphone? No? I don't see it. So, trust is this unspoken force. Whoa. Oh, thank you. Look at that. All right, so anyone want to share? What are some differences between a high trust relationship that you've had or have versus a low trust relationship? This young lady in the front would like to share.
I guess with the high trust relationship, you have more meaningful interaction with each other. It's more sincere. Whereas with the not so trustful, it's more just acquaintance.
It's more what?
Acquaintance.
Acquaintance. So it's more meaningful. There's richer interactions. Yeah.
And with the low trust, it's just just very superficial.
Superficial.
Right.
It doesn't touch the heart, right? Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Gopal Hari, I saw his hand first, and then Shivram Prabhu.
A high trust relationship feels more safe than a low.
Feels safe.
You may,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In one aspect is the vulnerability in a relationship, how much open and vulnerable one can be.
Yeah, similar to that. So when you feel safe, you can be more vulnerable, and that vulnerability is an aspect of a high trust relationship, whereas in low trust, it's not there. Yeah, very good. Behind you, Ganga Narayan.
You could also think about a trusting relationship perhaps is lower maintenance, in a sense that you trust that they would understand, and the connection already exists, and
take them for granted.
not necessarily taking for granted, but yes, taking it for granted, because you trust that person and there's a trusting relationship, and you don't feel encumbered by it doesn't bear on you. It doesn't weigh you down. It's lighter.
Very nice. It doesn't weigh on you. A high trust relationship doesn't weigh on you. That's very beautiful. Okay, we have 2 and 3. We'll just do 2 more, and then I do need to cover some content. Go ahead.
Prabhu, I was thinking it builds builds over time the high trusting relationship. It doesn't just like that happen. And also there is an investment from both the parties.
Yeah, so there's investment from both parties and it takes a while. Low trust relationship, you can build that really quick. Yeah.
I'd just like to add that in the workforce, we are taught wherever there's the high trust, they are higher performing teams as opposed
Fantastic.
to...
Oh my goodness, what a great segue. So, just this past Thursday, you can just turn it off, keep it next to you. Just this past Thursday, at my job, my corporate environment, I'm part of a team that has pioneered this group called Better Together. We're trying to build leadership skills among middle management, okay? And one of the models that we shared this past Thursday was this model called the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Are you familiar with it? You are. That's why you said what you said. Okay. And so the bottom rung of that 5 dysfunctions, so it's like a pyramid. Those 5 dysfunctions are built upon on the bottom, vulnerability-based trust or lack of trust. So when you have a lack of trust, that's the first dysfunction that causes all other kinds of dysfunctions in a team. And you can think of a team as a family. You can think of a team as a community like this Hare Krishna temple. You can think of a team naturally, the one in your workplace. So all of that's founded upon, a dysfunction in it is founded upon lack of vulnerability-based trust, where people feel safe and not so insecure to share their weaknesses or areas of improvement, things like that. So it's a big deal. Trust is it's a foundation for any good team or family. Yeah. And it's the unspoken force that builds a community, and it's the unspoken force that breaks a community. When trust starts to weaken within a community or a family, that's when things start to fall apart. And trust is not something we can do without. I remember growing up, I was taught by certain members of my family, like my granddad, don't trust anyone. Now, I have a lot of compassion for his position on that. Why? Because he went through the partition. So my family actually hails from this part of India called Pakistan, with Sindh. And so when the partition between Pakistan and India happened, my granddad had to move, and during that time it was a turbulent, violent time where people were being killed left and right. He had bullets, speeding through right next to his ear and things like that. He survived it. But you can understand, and not only that, he got betrayed by his family members where they took his money and things like that. So, he went through some tough time. And so his message to me, that came through my dad as well, don't trust anyone. Now, is it possible? Is it possible? How many of you go into an airplane not trusting the pilot? How many of you go to a bank and deposit your money without trusting the bank? How many of you get into your car and turn on the ignition without trusting Elon Musk, assuming you have a Tesla? Can we do without trust? We can't. So it's not practical. But when you're hurt so bad, you want to take that stand. Don't trust anyone. So why does trust break? What are some thoughts on that? Where's the microphone? You got a microphone? Anyone want to share? Why does trust break? Behind you, the lady who was about to speak. Yeah, no, you have to. Yeah, go ahead.
Irregular behavior, like there is no prediction in behavior, some lack of discipline, kind of things.
Yeah, when there isn't consistent behavior.
Yeah, inconsistent is the right
word. Very good. Thank you. Anyone else? Why does trust break? Sandhya Mataji?
That is, when somebody whom I thought I trust behaved in a very strange way. I mean, it was not the way I expected him to respond to me or respond to the situation. Then I was bewildered.
Yeah.
And trust was broken.
That's good. Thank you. Stoka Krishna Prabhu. Rohel, would you like to run it to him? Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. My thought is that we feel betrayed. Say, suppose we trust somebody and you confide in somebody, and that confidence or the person shares it with somebody else when he or she is not supposed to. So my
Right,
trust.
so breach of confidentiality
Correct.
is a big one. Right, thank you. When people's senses are not controlled, can't trust them. When there's a lack of commitment or follow through, right? Alpesh Prabhu and I were talking about this yesterday. Like if a person doesn't follow through with a commitment, then you can really trust them. But if someone does follow through with a commitment, then you can trust them, right? That's another reason. Transparency, it's a big one. Are we transparent about what's going on for us? Are we transparent about a service that we're managing? So these are symptoms or reasons for which trust can be broken. Does someone appreciate, do we feel appreciated by that person? Do they give credit when credit is due? Can we trust them in that way? Or does it seem like they're trying to hoard credit for themselves, or property for themselves, or people for themselves? So these are things that break trust. So the two facets of trust, sometimes in some leadership models they talk about three. When somebody says, I trust him, like I was in a meeting recently and one colleague told another colleague, I trust you. I'm thinking, what does that mean? Because trust has so many facets to it, doesn't it? Because I can trust, maybe I can trust, let's give an example. Royal, please forgive me for picking on you, okay? But I can trust him to drive me. You know, he's got a good skill of driving, he can drive me to the airport. But I may not trust him with $1 million because, you know, he's a businessman by nature. You know, so there's different ways to trust someone. And so there's the character, which has with it the motivation that drives an individual, as well as the integrity. Or the skills or the competence. And that includes skills, it includes someone's knowledge, it includes someone's experience. So these are two facets of trust. Make sense? There's a third, sometimes they put a third one, which is communication. Another facet of trust is the ability to communicate proactively. We'll just stick with these two. You can consider communication as a skill or a competence. Now, interesting. Research has shown that it's easier to forgive lack of competence, but it's not so easy to forgive lack of character. So if somebody drives me really well to the airport and then get into an accident, you know, I can more easily forgive that if, you know, unless he was driving me, or if he was driving me to the airport and you know, making sure I get hurt at the airport so they can take my money. That's a different way I would handle it or consider it, right? Here's another interesting concept. Why do people lose trust even when the other person may be trustworthy? I give you an example. This is in Mahaprabhu's Leela. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother, Shachi Devi. So she had two sons that lived. The older one was Vishwarup and the younger one was Vishwambhara. Vishwambhara is another name for Mahaprabhu or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Vishwarup, her older son, used to visit Advaita Acharya's home to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. And Vishwarup used to listen, and he would be so inspired by those Srimad Bhagavatam classes that finally he decided, just when his parents had recognized he was coming to that age where, parents get really excited about marriage, he recognized that was going to be thrust upon him, and he said, I don't want to have anything to do with it. He left home and he took up monkhood or sannyas life. And then his younger brother, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, started to also go to Advaita Acharya's classes and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. Now she was carrying some resentment. It's a very big deal. When we carry this resentment and we just harbor it and harbor it and harbor it, it's going to come out in some weird way, perhaps not to our own benefit in the future. So she was carrying this resentment towards Advaita Acharya. And she was considering that maybe it's his fault that my older son went to the forest and didn't get married. I'm not sure why getting married is such a big deal sometimes, but it is. And Vishwambhara, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he used to go and visit every day to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam from Advaita Acharya, when he came back and she saw how enthralled Mahaprabhu was with those Bhagavatam classes, she started to get insecure. She started to get disturbed, to a point which she criticized Advaita Acharya. Now, he's a great sage, elderly gentleman. He was like in his 70s at the time. All he's doing is speaking transcendental wisdom from scripture. He's trustworthy. And his character was exemplary. He's trustworthy as an individual. But she couldn't trust him. She criticized him because she's carrying that resentment, and there was a problem there. I'll give you another example from scripture. Some of you may have heard of this king of demigods, King Indra. Several times in the Bhagavatam, Prithu Maharaj, who's an incarnation of God himself, he was the most powerful and laudable king of his time. He was so wonderful. He really took good care of his citizens. He was an excellent leader. But Indra didn't trust his motivations. When he wanted to do 100 horse sacrifices, at that time that was a pretty cool thing to do, horse sacrifices, and he wanted to do 100. And one of Indra's names is the one who has accomplished 100 horse sacrifices. So Indra had some pride, and with pride comes insecurity. And with insecurity comes lack of trust. And so, because he was feeling insecure, he didn't have trust. He couldn't trust that Prithu had the right intentions. So he tried to steal the horse. The 99th horse sacrifice, he went to steal it. It's a huge drama about that whole story, which I won't get into. And we see with Mother Shachi here and Mahaprabhu, same deal with Advaita Acharya. She was feeling insecure that my child maybe going to the forest, which he did ultimately, but in between he got married a couple of times. So when our hearts are colored with pride and insecurity, then we have struggle with trusting even those who are trustworthy. That makes sense? So we have to be aware. Let me see if I can draw around here. So what are we aware of? We're only aware of what our intentions are. and we are aware of another person's impact upon me, right? We are not aware of another person's intentions, and we are not aware of what our actions and speech, how they land for another person. So when we're dealing with trust of another individual or an organization or someone in an authority position or what have you, being conscious of this is critical. And that's why very healthy, wholesome, open dialogues are super critical to build relationships. Sometimes we run on autopilot and just assume that relationships will stay high trust. But without maintenance of those relationships through wholesome communications or speaking about intentions, it's hard to maintain those high trust relationships. They start to degrade over time. Kali Yuga and time factor has that ability. It degrades everything over time. Even relationships, and even the most trusting and high trust relationships we might have in our lives, they need regular maintenance through wholesome dialogue. And meaningful dialogue, not superficial dialogue. Meaningful dialogue talking about intentions. So this is a trust quadrant, and I'll try to explain it. So we might have the ability to discern, like our intelligence is turned on. We understand, we're able to distinguish between a competent and character-based person versus an incompetent and perhaps a low character-based person. That's that ability to discern. And then there's the ability to trust. I was just hearing a video recently where he was saying one member of a corporate executive team was saying, I can't even trust my husband, and it's been 10 years, there's no way I'm going to trust the rest of this exec team. Like, it's not going to happen. So some people just have the strong inability to trust. I hate to say it, my grandpa. And very likely, I'm carrying some of that. Because, you know, intergenerational baggage. The ability to trust is a big deal. And so if you have very low ability to trust, and you can't really discern between people, then you basically stay in an indecisive position, unable to build good relationships. If you have strong ability to discern, but low ability to trust, we just remain suspicious about everyone. I think, yeah, my grandpa would be in that category. I hope he never hears this video, by the way. He's no longer. Maybe. If we have strong ability to trust, but we don't have very good discrimination, like children, at least young children, then children are considered to be gullible. And if we have strong ability to trust, and we have strong ability to discern, then we have what's called smart trust. Pretty simple, right? Makes sense? Okay, if someone makes a mistake, is that enough to break trust? Not necessary. It's how we deal with mistakes. And there's a whole training around how to recover from having made mistakes. Like seeking forgiveness. We might say, I'm sorry. That's empty, that's weak. I'm sorry doesn't have enough oomph in it. Sometimes that's just good enough. in some cases, that somebody even humble enough to admit they made a mistake, that's good to say, I'm sorry. But forgiveness has different parts to it. First is, yeah, certainly to feel regret. But for what? Specifically, I am sorry for being specific, what I did. And then explaining why I did that. And then explaining what I plan to do for the future to make sure that doesn't happen again. That's a well-rounded apology after a mistake. Just, I'm sorry. Sometimes we're just so needing the little bit of, admittance that as soon as a person says, I'm sorry, oh, thank God, finally, we just say, we don't go any further. But what will happen is if there isn't proper recognition of the issue, if the forgiveness process is not complete, the issue recurs and recurs and recurs. And we see this in Mahaprabhu's case, that he had such very strong ability to trust. Jagai and Madai, they tried to kill Lord Nityananda, right? Even though they tried to kill his brother, Mahaprabhu, as soon as they apologized for what they did, and they promised never to do it again, Mahaprabhu forgave them, and he said, no one else in this land should ever accuse them of what they've done in the past. Even though they'd gone years, for years they were hurting others and engaging in all kinds of illicit, sinful activities. They were pretty terrible, actually. They were what you would call gundas. But brahmanas, they were brahmanically trained, but they were basically dacoits. For years, but just once, after their mistake of trying to kill or hurt Nityananda Prabhu, they requested forgiveness. Mahaprabhu forgave them. All right. Hey, we talked about this. All this is too difficult. No, I just trust no one. Can we get a microphone here? Thanks.
Like you were saying, I was thinking, maybe you mentioned this and then I missed it. But it's such a wonderful example because he immediately trusts them, but then he tells them, like you were saying, that for the rest of your life you should stay at this ghat and you should clean that ghat.
Yeah.
So it's not just that he gave the trust, but also he trusted them, but then also the third step which you said was, then what are you going to do to rectify it so you don't do it again?
Yeah, that's critical for a full-fledged forgiveness. And that's what they did too. They said for the future. So, can I just trust no one? And we said, we can't not, I mean, of course you have to go on an airplane, you have to deposit your money, you don't have to deposit your money, but I know some people that put money under their mattresses still. But when we want to have, at the core of our beings as spiritual entities, we have a need for connection and we have a need for relationships. It's just who we are. We can't change that. And as soon as we feel a connection made, naturally the heart is happy. And it is, research has shown, I was presenting this to some students in Northwestern University on Friday, research has shown that loneliness and isolation is root cause for diseases like cancer and heart problems. Because at the core of if we're not emotionally well settled with strong relationships, we're going to experience physical disorders and diseases. So it's so strong, we have such a strong need for connection that it's important to learn how to trust. So a ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. And I would go one step further. Spiritual entities like ourselves, if we're in a harbor and isolated, we're actually hurting ourselves. And now, primordial broken trust. Why do we experience betrayal in this world? Why do we experience trust issues? The Bhagavad Gita says that we are experiencing a broken, trusting relationship with Krishna that is causing us to experience broken trust with anyone else that we might experience that with. It's rooted in our relationship with God. Even though our $100 bill says, "In God we trust." Right? Prabhupada would say, so this is a quote from Prabhupada. He said, suppose if you say, "Trust this man," but I must know, what is this man? Then my trust will be convinced that he's a very respectful man, he's a rich man, he's an able man. Yes, I can trust. But simply trust in God, you do not know what God is, you do not know his nature, you do not know how he interacts with others, then how can you say, in God we trust? Honestly, we trust the $100 bill more. Right? We might ask these questions, is Krishna really there? Does he care about me? Does Krishna really care about me? This is the primordial trust issue, the trust relationship. I did this with my kid once, older kid. I asked him, turn around and just fall towards me. And I was really surprised that he did that. He allowed me to just hold on to him. He didn't catch himself, he just fell. I caught him. Now I won't even try because he's about, 80% my weight. But see, he had trust in two aspects of Dad, at the time anyway. Now, of course, he's closer to being a teenager, so, Dad's not cool or trustworthy anymore. But at that time, he had two aspects to it. Number one, Dad cares about me. Number two, Dad's strong enough to hold me. Like if his mom was behind him and she said, you fall, he's like, I don't think I want to do that, right? So both aspects are there. Powerful and loving. These are two aspects of God, of divinity, that if we actually trust those facets of God, then we can have a strong, trusting relationship with Krishna. Some of you may know this book by a rabbi. He wrote a book called Why Do Good Things Happen to Bad People? Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People? And the backstory is this rabbi, he was expecting that he's a good religious person, so he would want that God takes care of him. His daughter died. And he couldn't understand why. He couldn't come to grips of what made that happen. So he went into this quest to understand, is God all-powerful? Is God all-loving? But he certainly can't be both. Because if he was all-powerful and all-loving, my daughter wouldn't die. Because I'm a man of God. Have you read that book? Yeah. What's his conclusion at the end? Correct me if I'm wrong. But his conclusion at the end is, and he continued to be a rabbi, is that God is not all powerful, but God is all loving. That was his conclusion. So then, who is all powerful? That begs the question. That question is unanswered. Our understanding is that challenging life situations are actually helpful. If one doesn't have a view of the spiritual being that's within the body, and to know the daughter is not just the daughter is a spiritual soul transitioning from one body to the next body and so forth, then if we don't have a big picture view, then we will not understand how sometimes God is loving, even though he exhibits his power in some perhaps not so understandable ways. So in times of trouble, this is a rhetorical question for you to consider. In times of trouble, are we looking to get rid of trouble? Or are we comfortable that Krishna is handling my life well? Here's what Krishna says towards the end of Gita. And do we trust this? Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mamai vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you. Oh my goodness, he's inviting us to trust him. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend. Some more promises by Krishna. He's inviting trust. Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma shucha. Don't worry, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Even morality, Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityaja. Forget standards of morality, just surrender unto me. And here's a picture of Mahaprabhu where one would say, that was not very nice of him to leave his mother and wife. He just left them to take up monkhood and enter to the forest. Actually, he kind of went other places too besides the forest, but that's what he did. Do we trust Krishna's words? Can we give up standards of morality for a higher purpose of Krishna consciousness? Sometimes family situations prevent one from practicing spiritual life. Can we carve out that space for us to focus on spiritual life? This is what Krishna is saying. Sarva dharman parityaja. Give up those standards of ethics and morality for Krishna consciousness. Can we do that? How much do we trust Krishna? Mahaprabhu gave up everything for Krishna's service. So how do we build trust in our relationship with Krishna, ultimately? Number one, we might have occasional experiences of higher taste. We might just have had these glimpses of, ooh, Krishna was there. I felt it, right? We might have had those experiences. Or during Janmashtami, fasting all day and having experienced a joy in not eating. You tell your colleagues, yeah, I didn't eat all day. You tell your colleagues at work, I didn't eat all day, but it was so joyful. They'll think you're crazy. When you have convincing philosophy, we can build on that. That was one of the reasons that I took up Krishna consciousness, is because I had studied various schools of thought, and this was the most convincing philosophy that was bulletproof as far as I was concerned at the time anyway. We might see inspiring role models who carry deep faith. And these can be source of trust because they are exemplary, and because they have trust in Krishna, I can trust Krishna. When Prabhupada came here, people didn't know anything about Krishna, but they saw Prabhupada and was so inspired by Prabhupada that that's what was pulling them towards Krishna. And the last one is feeling shelter in troubled times. So these are different ways that we can build this trust, rebuild this trust in Krishna, and then truly we can say in God we trust. So I invite you all to think about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of trust in Krishna? When you think of 10, think of Queen Kunti who tells Krishna, Vipada santu tashashvat tatta tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yatsad apunar bhavadarshanam. She tells Krishna, Krishna, please bring more calamities in my life. Anyone here comes and prays to Krishna, please bring more calamities and troubles in my life? That was a prayer to Krishna. Please bring calamities more in my life, because more calamities means that I can see you more. So that's 10. Where do we stand from 1 to 10? That's a question. And then what can we practically do to increase it by 1 point? So I'll pause there and see if there are any comments or questions for a couple of minutes. Any thoughts, any reflections? Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
Could one amazing example be Draupadi, where she trusts Krishna so much that she's willing to let go of her sari and raise up her hands?
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Thank you. Everyone's stunned in silence. Sandhya Mataji.
Draupadi's example, I was wondering, at that moment, she lost trust in her husband's and faith in a grandfather, Bhishma also probably, but Krishna is the only one in her life. She could trust. No?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, any last one? Shivram Prabhu? And then we'll end there.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the very well made lecture.
Hare Krishna.
A couple of points that were coming up for me. I want to continue the Draupadi example. I heard from Her Grace Rukmani Mataji in a lecture a long time back, Prabhupada disciple. She was saying something very wonderful, so I just want to repeat that. She said, Draupadi did not surrender to Dusashana. She chose the right person to surrender and trust. So that's something that was coming up for me. So it's not just trusting somebody, but who do I trust? And then that led me to the next point for myself was who I trust shows more about me rather than the other person. So it's mostly concerning me as to who am I trusting. So that's what I want to share. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. You get two.
All right. Yeah, one is good. So once again, please give a big hand to Yamuna Jivana Prabhu. Is there anybody visiting first time to temple? You're coming first time? Oh, very nice. Are you local, Naperville? Oh, in this area, Naperville area? All right, so you have a home now. You have a new home here, right? Please keep coming. And anybody else this side? All right, okay. You are coming first time too? And you live in Naperville? Buffalo Grove. Okay, a little far, but it's not that far. All right, so thank you both of you coming here. Again, in case you don't know, our Sunday program starts at 5 o'clock every Sunday. And those of you coming here for a long time, I have a small ask. We built this temple to make every Sunday completely full. And it's like 1/3 or half the capacity. So we are wasting remaining half of the space. So I think we all have a combined responsibility to work together to knock on friends' door, extended family, kids, friends, bring them. Because there are no other place. You know, initially when they come, they won't say, oh, where I have to go. But give them a couple of times, this chance, and they themselves will appreciate. But the first hand has to come from all of us, right? Agree? So next Sunday, can we have each one of you, one of your friend here, right? Can we do that? All right. Thank you. So please do that. We really appreciate because this is such a wonderful facility and this kind of lecture and then prasadam, like amazing prasadam is waiting for all of you. So where else you will get? You don't get anywhere. So thank you so much. So every Sunday this program is possible through a sponsorship by some kind donors. So we have two kinds of programs. So one, we do the Sunday program where the entire program is sponsored and Raj Bhoga particularly is sponsored and you can come and serve directly to Sri Radha Syam Sundar and Radha Madhava. So this Sunday, the very fortunate family was Padmavati Mataji and their family son Arjun. It happened to be Arjun's birthday. Arjun, come on, Haribo! And Arjun is real Arjun. I know on Janmashtami, Arjun alone, how much money you raised, Arjun? Come here. No. Say loudly, how much you read? How much you read? Say loudly.
Around $1,000.
He raised, no, I think you did more than $1,000 if I'm not wrong. All right. Thank you. That's your gift. It's there. There is a gift. Trust me. There is. Don't sow. Arjun, believe me, there are sweets. Give a big hand, give a blessing to the Arjun. So Arjun and some of his friends on Janmashtami, they did parking scam. So everyone going out, they will go as a kid and say, give some donation, give them some donation. And people were very kind. And with that, these few kids, they raised really around $1,000. So it's so inspiring to see. And you look at his face, he's really serious, he's like a devotee will come true. So thank you, Arjun, and thank you, Padmavati Mati, thank you, Prabhuji, Sai Prabhu, thank you so much. And we had a very fortunate today. We have several people who have sponsored Sunday Feast. So let me read out their name and cause, and then we'll pray together for them. So it's Vishal Agrawal seeking blessings of devotees for their kids Davik Naks and for their kids Davik Naksh and Nara. Sukh Sagar Mataji in memory of their parents. Meeta Garcia Mataji, 12th birthday, and I think it is Sandeep Patel Prabhu, who is now Sanatan Prabhu. He is seeking for protection of all devotees. And Anu and Raj Prabhu, death anniversary of their brother Anil Raghav, that Raj Prabhu's brother. And Sivarama Prabhu, prayers of Radha Syam Sundar and all devotees for their son Krishna Chaitanya's physical and spiritual well-being. So thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Are you all here? I see Sivarama Prabhu here. Prabhu, please come. Ramdas, please give me a question. Thank you, Prabhu, coming all the way here to support. Thank you so much. Anybody else? You have a sponsor, Sunday Feast, you are here? Are you? These names, I read few names. Okay, please. Please go. Good. All good? So now this is the time, let's really pray sincerely, looking towards Sri Radha Syam Sundar, Radha Madhava. Pray for the well-beings of the families and pray for all the devotees who have sponsored the feast. Let's pray with me together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, thank you. So a couple of quick announcements. Diwali and Govardhan Puja we are celebrating on November 12th, that is Sunday. And this is really big festival. Though some of you don't know, we are making big Govardhan hill with fruits and all the food item, and this is the one time like you can bring the food from your home. So this is a wonderful opportunity. We'll put more details and give the boxes for people to take home. So please plan for that. Let the people come. And then their Sunday Feast sponsorship slots open for next Sunday. So if any one of you are inspired, please do that. And downstairs, prasadams are being served, so please go there and see if there are any services there. There are a lot of service opportunities. But right now, please take blessings and go have wonderful prasadam. Thank you so much, and see you all next Sunday and with your friends and families. All right, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, oh, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Are these the right keys? Are these the right keys? These are the right keys. These are the ones that are out. Okay, just making sure.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Start fast. Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,